The moon hung low over the vast expanse of the ocean, its silver light reflecting off the surface of the water like shards of broken glass. Blackwater Cove had long been deserted, a place where fishermen refused to cast their nets, and ships gave a wide berth, fearing the stories that clung to the air like a heavy mist. No one dared to venture near the cove after dark, for it was said that the waters were cursed, haunted by a spirit that claimed the souls of those who dared trespass into its domain. The sea here was darker than ink, as if the very depths held secrets that no man should ever uncover. Years ago, a ship named the Horizon had sailed into the cove, seeking shelter from a raging storm that had appeared out of nowhere. The crew, hardened men who had braved the worst that the sea had to offer, thought nothing of the eerie silence that greeted them as they dropped anchor. As the storm raged above, the men huddled in the ship's hold, the howling winds and crashing waves drowning out the sounds of the night. But as midnight struck, the wind suddenly died down, and an unnatural calm fell over the cove. The captain, a grizzled man named Elias Blackthorne, ventured out onto the deck, peering into the inky blackness that surrounded the ship. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding, and the hairs on the back of his neck stood on, and as he noticed something strange, a figure standing on the shore, barely visible through the mist. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light, a mirage brought on by exhaustion and the lingering effects of the storm. But as he stared, the figure began to move, walking slowly along the shoreline, its movements graceful yet unnatural. Elias felt a cold sweat break out on his brow as he realized that the figure was not walking on the shore, but on the surface of the water itself. Panic gripped him as he rushed below deck, ordering his men to weigh anchor and set sail at once. But it was too late. The ship was trapped, held fast by an unseen force that seemed to rise from the depths of the cove, dragging the Horizon down inch by inch. The crew fought valiantly, trying to free the ship from the cove's grasp, but their efforts were in vain. One by one, they were picked off, their screams echoing across the water as they were dragged into the abyss by unseen hands. Elias, the last man standing, made a desperate attempt to escape, diving into the icy waters in a bid to swim to safety. But the water was not what it seemed, thick, cold and suffocating, as if it were alive and hungry for his soul. As he struggled, he felt something brush against his leg, then another and another, until he was surrounded by the grasping hands of the dead. They pulled him under, their cold fingers tightening around his throat as his vision faded and darkness claimed him. The next morning, when the storm had passed, the cove was calm once more. The Horizon was gone, swallowed by the sea, with no trace of the ship or its crew remaining. The locals spoke in hushed tones of the event, adding another chapter to the legend of Blackwater Cove. They said that on certain nights, when the moon was full and the tide was high, the ghostly figure of Captain Elias could be seen standing on the shore, his eyes glowing with an unnatural light as he watched over the cove. Those who dared to approach the cove on such nights claimed to hear the mournful cries of the lost souls. Their voices carried on the wind like a siren song, and those foolish enough to venture too close never returned, their fates sealed by the curse that lay upon the water. As the years passed, the legend of Blackwater Cove grew, drawing the curious and the brave, each seeking to uncover the truth behind the haunting. But none who entered the cove ever lived to tell the tale. The sea, dark and silent, kept its secrets well, holding the souls of the lost within its depths, where they would remain for all eternity. And so, Blackwater Cove remained a place of fear and mystery, its waters forever haunted by the ghostly presence of Captain Elias and his doomed crew. Even now, on nights when the wind is still and the moon hangs low in the sky, the cove calls out to those who dare to listen. But beware, for the sea is a jealous mistress, and she does not take kindly to those who seek to uncover her darkest secrets. If you ever find yourself on the shores of Blackwater Cove, and you hear the faint sound of a sheep's bell ringing in the distance, turn back, for the sea remembers, and she is always hungry for more souls to claim. And if you happen to see the ghostly figure of Captain Elias standing on the shore, do not approach, for he is a warning, a reminder of the curse that binds the cove and the spirits that dwell within its depths. In the end, the sea always wins, its power absolute, its will unyielding. Blackwater Cove remains a place of death and despair, its waters forever tainted by the blood of those who dared to defy its dark and ancient curse. So sail on, traveler, and leave the cove to its ghosts, for there are some places in this world where the living do not belong, and in the cold, dark depths of Blackwater Cove, the dead rule supreme.